All right, welcome back to Anime Savants, everybody. And this week, I am Rosemary.
Shit. This week I'm motherfucking Tengen Usui, baby.
Oh my god, that nigga lived.
That he did.
I'm shocked, to be honest. Like, we might as well go ahead and get the fucking Demon Slayer shit out the way. I am fucking shocked. The fact that not only that he lived, he and the wives, all three wives.
Yep,
lived.
that's why he's the man.
Like, I'm like, bruh, what? And then Snake Dude gonna show up and basically be like, damn, you live, nigga? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm pretty sure you should have died. Like, damn.
Right.
But
that's a real OG right there. He ain't going down for nothing. For nothing.
It was satisfying. I mean, even though I felt like I knew the episode itself wasn't really gonna have much more like action, because I was just like, what the fuck else are they gonna do? Like, is the body gonna go on a rampage or some shit? Because niggas are spit, they're done. So I was expecting either like, if something else were to happen, another Hashira was gonna show up and clean that shit up in like a millisecond and embarrass everybody. But that's not what happened. So like, we got that fucking story, like two sides, like just another brother and sister, just you know.
Mm-hmm. You know how Demon Slayer be loving to fuck with the brothers and sisters, twins, little kids.
And I knew it was coming because they do this with every single demon that Tanjiro basically has to deal with for the most part. Like, there's some kind of sympathy factor going on there. But this one was kind of just like, damn, did we... Like, you just killed these niggas. I mean, not to say that they should not have been forgiven, but then also someone told me, because I was confused, I was like, why the hell is like Ume having the option to go to heaven? And apparently it was because she didn't choose to become a demon. It was because her brother made the choice for her. So I was like, Oh, that makes sense. But then also, like, I don't know, just the repentance. I was like, yeah, y'all just going to hell. Like, y'all done killed a lot of niggas.
Bye. What's up with that gif of the little girl sliding down? Like, just like, bye forever.
Bye. Like, also, Akaza, I got a little word for Akaza, because I was like, nigga, you got called into the Infinity Castle in, like, a millisecond. Like, you about to get your ass beat just because he pissed. Or they are pissed. Muzan, we got revelations. At least I think we got revelations from the Demon Slayer head talking about Muzan's part of his family. And then it looks like that shit that was like on his head is poison compared to the way that it was infecting Tengen. So look, I got all this shit. Anyways, great finale. It was gorgeous. The music was fucking phenomenal. And they announced season 3 immediately. So beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful. Like, I'm actually happy that we're not getting a movie, because that means that it would just delay things even further as far as like waiting on an American release. So, hey, like, great. I mean, I don't know what you thought of it. What did you think of it as like of someone who's already completed it? Like, did they?
I mean, I was just. This is my favorite arc. A lot of people like the ending, which is very long, because there's so many feats and so many 1v1s that a lot of people are into, and it's crazy. I mean, and it you can feel however you want about the actual end of the story. I think the story ended fine, but like, a lot of people like that section because a lot of stuff comes to a head. I like this arc the most because it is very focused. The cast of characters are, for the outside of the main trio, are colorful. They're interesting. You get, I mean, Tengen's in it. It's the only time he's in it, and he is just like beyond a flex.
That nigga retired.
He just retired with his wives. He's just balling out. Like, he's just
gonna
make
some babies.
Yeah, he's just the OG. That's it. There's no like beating around the bush. It's just. It's the shit. So I was waiting to see how far they would take it. Even I did not expect them to go as ham as they did, basically from like episode 3 or 4 up until the episode prior to the last one for the season. They just said, fuck it. Like, we're gonna go. There was one episode that was like 32 minutes long. You know, like they were going overtime. Like, how am I supposed to hate on something like this? It was just.
Oh, people found a way. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sure, but that's all I wanted. That's all I want. Now I hope that like nobody died making this shit, because there were some times I'm looking at some of these cuts and I'm like, man, that animation staff has to be on the brink.
You didn't go home. Yeah.
You
didn't go home. I mean, I'd be very much so interested to get like an insider's like look on Mappa and Ufotable, because especially Mappa, like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, they've picked up so many fucking IPs, and it's whatever. I also saw something, well, I'll mention that later in the news, but right. Demon Slayer, fucking amazing, great. So, Vanitas, I just want to go straight to Vanitas.
Yeah, let's go.
You were right! Oh my god! I literally was like, James!
I know it. And again, I've had no spoilers.
So I just want to.
I almost like when the last season went off, I was like, oh right, there's a manga, and then I saw how relatively few chapters there seemed to be. So I'm like, I'm not like, if it had been like we'd been like on chapter 50 of 200, I might have entertained reading it. But I'm like, if there may have been like 50 or 60. Or like after where we were at, I'm like, I'll remain surprised. But the reason why I had the inkling that it was the queen was because of in season 1, the shots where she is basically like a decayed body, and everyone's kind of like covering it up. So that right away was like, had my eyebrow up, like, why are they hiding away this character who's clearly going to be pivotal to the whole thing? And then as they started to play out what all the malnomen were for different curse bearers, and I'm like, okay, I don't know I'm not gonna speculate on the details of why it was her, but it kind of just made circular sense that Nania, or at least that the queen, would have a shadow.
A malnomen.
Yeah, and I think there was also in season 1 there was a line, and I think it was the Desaad character had said something like we don't want to wake up our sleeping something or other. And I'm like, this is really, and the attack happened like on the group of vampires and So I just had in my head, like, it would be a kind of circular twist to have the queen's shadow be the one that's corrupting everybody. And that would explain like which vampires were chosen or gone after. I don't know. But
honestly, it makes sense that she's able to corrupt them because she's the queen.
Right.
So I was well, now that they've revealed this, I was like, it explains how and why. At least I think it explains it, because like they're all connected to her. So I'm assuming she definitely has some kind of like power or ability to like not flex on them, but like affect them.
Yeah,
maybe
there was like this red moon,
way.
Blue moon thing. So she's the progenitor of all of the vampires that we have met, other than the blue moon side, which we don't know very much about. Do you recall, is it the case that Vanitas and Noe's teacher, was he of the blue moon, or was he just studying it?
Wait, because he's the one who gave and Noe.
Remember because they share the same
wait, they do?
Vampire who taught them.
I thought the guy who taught Noe was Dominique's grandfather.
I think he has a nickname. They don't say what the name of the character is, but Vanitas also he's the one who gave Vanitas the book. The book, and he's also the one who told Noe to go find Vanitas because he had the book. Oh,
see, I've completely forgotten about that plot point. So
yeah, but we don't know anything about him. We don't know his name. We don't know whatever. But I don't remember if they ever mentioned that he had any relation to the blue moon other than he was interested in it. Because I'm theory crafting here, but
I thought that the Noe's teacher was the one that has the interest in the blue moon, but isn't that? And then Vanitas was actually rescued by the blue moon.
Okay, maybe I'm getting that character mixed up.
I could be wrong too, because it's been a minute.
Yeah, I don't really remember. But in any case, like once it was revealed that it was the queen, then the things that are happening kind of started to fall in line. So like why Chloe couldn't fuck with her, it wasn't just like power scaling, it's the rules of their vampirism seem to affect her. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Chloe wasn't originally a vampire.
No.
She became a vampire. We don't see her get turned explicitly, but we guessed in previous episodes that it had to do with the changing of the rules of the world, that she was just somebody who got affected. I don't know if that's true, because if she was under the control of Narnia / the queen as a result of being part of the same bloodline, then that makes me assume that she must have been changed somehow by
the queen,
by her or somebody in that bloodline. I don't know. I'm just spitballing because I don't know the answer, but it's very interesting to me that we got that interaction, and then you fast forward to sort of the second half of the episode, which is the Chasseurs showing up and Roland now Roland's just a good guy. Like, I was iffy on it before, but now he's just a good guy, so it's fine.
I fucked with Roland. I'm not gonna lie, I fucked with Roland. I also like the other guy's weapon, the chainsaw sword. I was like, I want to see that in action. I want to see you chopping some niggas up. Right. Also, apparently they skipped Astolfo and Noe's fight. Like, they actually do have a fight.
Yeah, that annoyed me.
Yeah. Like, I definitely asked about it. Yeah, they just I was like, how y'all gonna... He did like a JoJo pose and everything in the episode before.
I'm mad you said he did a JoJo pose.
I mean, it was like watered down as fuck, but still, it was just kind of like I'm gonna obscure this and like show I'm about to fuck you up, and then we don't get the fight. Like, okay, I mean, maybe it's budget, maybe they're saving it for something else, but I was like, it would have been nice because now Astolfo doesn't seem as compelling as.
Well, he didn't do anything.
Yeah, he hasn't really done anything now.
He literally has done nothing.
If they had a fight and they were like, chit-chatting back and forth, like, spouting ideologies based on
something.
Like,
you learn something about them. Also, they similarly cut whatever happened to Jean-Jacques, he kind of just appeared in scene and attacked and got one-shotted.
That nigga ain't important no more.
But he's not important. But then they say in the episode that like Chloe, like that is her most important thing ever. So it's the catalyst for her going after Narnia is the fact that Jean-Jacques had his name taken and he's cursed. So she's doing this for him, and yet he's sort of like the afterthought. Like he gets like batted away and he's just out of the story. He's like, I'm good. I'm done.
Might even be getting fucked up by some paladins.
Possibly. And then we also had another flashback. This time we saw more for what's her name? John?
Oh yeah. So, I wasn't expecting that. I thought
we were done.
And honestly, I kind of checked out at that part too, because I was kind of just like, I feel like we should have had this information earlier. But okay, it's not that I didn't enjoy it, but I kind of was just like, damn, like we were really rolling in the beginning of the episode, and now
they're just parsing it out in a weird way. You know, like there was a lot. Like if you took just the Jean flashbacks by themselves, they're probably about a full episode, like worth of content that they stuck in there. I guess if you overlap with like the Chloe stuff too.
And the Chloe stuff, I feel like the Chloe stuff still ain't done.
Of course it isn't. So, was that exciting? Not really. Was it? Did it help us understand more? I would argue that like this episode's flashback material was kind of redundant. I mean, not emotionally, but like the fact of the matter, I don't know if I like or dislike or more interested or less interested in this character after going through the third flashback sequence of this arc with her. Like we get it, she's fucked up and memories are all fucked up, and I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's fine. other than that, we kind of end on the note. There was one other side piece, which is, did you see the little scene of her robot contraption fighting?
Yeah.
I'm like that. I thought we were getting that, and it did happen, but then it wasn't like.
You thought it was gonna be much more like, you know, important, like that they were gonna actually put them up against something. I saw it and I was kind of just like, okay.
So the weird irony is that I sporadically will like watch whatever the latest One Piece episode is, but like months apart. So like I'll watch whatever, I'll remember it's there. I'm like, oh, let me see where's One Piece at, and I'll pick up an episode, whatever the latest one is. I'm like, all right, here we are, and then I'll go away, and then I'll come back like 2 months later. I'm like, oh, I wonder what it looks like now, and I'll look at it and go away. So I happened to watch this week's episode.
Oh, the Roanoa one.
Bruh. Okay. So this is Vanitas is doing its own thing, but there's times when I'm like, just crib some notes from the classics. Like, if you want to have a little teeny bit of shonen in there, you gotta like structure it a little better. Because again, everyone knows the villain's castle setup for like a conflict, right? You do all your ideological stuff, you set up what the stakes are, what the heroes want to accomplish, what the villains want to accomplish, what each side believes. Then you stack your villains as challenges for your heroes, and then they go through them, and it can either happen one by one, or you can do it simultaneously where different people split off and do stuff, and then it all converges in the end where whoever is like the lead character of this thing, they have their moment, ideology triumphs over evil, and then you move on. If you want to break that formula, which is nothing wrong with breaking it, I don't know if I like the sort of like haphazard way this series gets when it tries to go big. When it's like one character dealing with one other character, it is great because they do all these like emotional things, and there's a little bit of humor, and they bounce off each other. But when you're trying to do the like Tower of Villainy mode, where like all the heroes have to overcome their little side tasks to finish the story, it gets very disjointed. Because like Roland, Noe, Vanitas, they all individually have like little bits with each other while this seemingly very serious thing is happening. The other Chaucers have their thing. It felt like D. Greyman, but like, again, disjointed.
Yeah.
Focus. The only time it's focused is when they're doing backstory dumps.
I think we have, I agree. And also I think we only have like one arc left. They're not going to get another like two things in here. It's just like,
no, not at all.
Boom and boom. If we finish, it better not be a fucking cliffhanger at the end of the season. I know that much.
Like, typically, at this point, I should be able to ask the following question. What conflicts do I want to see resolved on screen in the next X amount of time, or when the series is over, right? So far in this arc, the only conflict that needs to get resolved is Chloe's fate, because we know they're not going to do anything now with Nania because it's the queen, so that's the big boss.
And also, Vanitas has to find his fucking book.
Yeah, he's got to get his book back. Like, these are all like very minor. The only like major antagonist who like you want to see come up against something is like Ruthven, and I guess it would be Noe versus Ruthven is like that's that.
I don't think that's possible right now because Ruthven definitely has some kind
done
of
something to him. Yeah,
and I mean Ruthven's cursed. And another key part of the episode that I noticed was that what Luca's brother said.
Right.
About like, you know, I thought we done such a good job of disposing of all her body parts. So I'm like, then what the fuck is in the bed?
I don't fucking know.
So like, okay.
Like, these are all questions that are like world building stuff, which I think is good. But like, now that we're at the point of conflict and conflict resolution, I hate to say it, I kind of don't care how it ends, since it's pretty clear who has the plot armor and who doesn't. So like, maybe
I just want to know, is Chloe gonna die?
Yeah, I mean, she might die. I mean, probably will die. Let me rephrase that. She probably will. But like, when he said, "Oh, you can't let any villager die, otherwise she's lost," then that basically took the stakes away, because now they can't die. And same for Jean-Jacques. If Jean-Jacques were to perish, then it would undo whatever story they're trying to tell. Like, I don't believe that there's any more depth here. So now we're sort of like, I'm like, hurry up. Like, let's get through this.
Next arc.
Yeah. I'm good here. Like, there was a little bit of intrigue in the beginning, but it kind of like fell apart into side stories I don't care about anymore. Let's keep moving.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at. All over the place, but there was some good bits in the midst of all that.
So Sabikui.
A less visually exciting episode, but a much more character driven.
Yeah, I screamed at the end, but we'll get to that later. Yeah.
Do you have a problem with humanoid digits on creatures that are not human?
Oh no, I screamed at like what the encounter that's about to happen.
Oh,
like, it was
okay.
like the worst possible fucking moment.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I got you.
But overall, so like I caught up. I really, really, really enjoyed that kid episode. Like it was almost magical. I was just like, bruh, this is just like, I could catch this episode out of nowhere and like basically be like, I'm about to go watch this entire show off this one episode.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking cool. Like, I like this shit. It was so great. To move on to this episode, and you got jellyfish retool, whatever. Tyrol.
Yeah, they pronounce it Chirol because they don't have the like.
Oh yeah, the hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just overall, I'm loving everything. I'm loving Milo's like development with just like, being out in the fucking wilderness and being like, you cannot second guess yourself, nigga. You just gonna have to, some shit you just gonna have to do. I'm loving Katagawa. I love what they do with that fucking crab where like they're just arguing and he's like, you niggas can just get off. Like,
yeah, that was funny.
You niggas can just get off.
Funny.
Like, I don't even want to hear your shit. It's like it doesn't speak, but it has a mind of its own, and it's so evident. Like, it's part of the cast.
Yeah, I mean, Bisco calls him his brother, and I think that's serious. That's not like a joke.
Yes.
So,
I don't know. I also had like a feeling of like longing where I was like, girl, why aren't you going with them? Like, cute. What the fuck are you doing? And also, she definitely knows about the rust mushroom.
Yeah.
Because when she was looking, she like was like side eyeing, and she was like, "Nigga, do you?" Okay. She also gave us her background. Like, this is how you like flesh out a character and keep it the fuck moving. Like, they fleshed her out. She gave her own background. It was condensed. We didn't need no flashbacks. And then it also put her life into perspective for like Bisco, where he was like, oh, okay, so you did all that. Okay. Well, I kind of respect you now. So like, but he didn't like give it up. He like gave it to her right before he left and was like, I'm gonna call you by your real name because I actually like fuck with you, but like, you still a bitch. Like, okay, like whatever. It's like great dynamics, different dynamics. The comedy is perfect. How she's just like, I don't want shit from you. I want shit from Panda. Like, I want to sleep with that nigga. Like, you're not attracted. Like, it was just back and forth, and like all of it was just like fucking amazing. The show is just good. It's good. It's not like high production. Like, oh my god, but I think the material itself is just, it's so solid. It's just so solid.
So there's a thing I was thinking about, because when I watched this episode, and then I talked with somebody about it, and they were talking about, they like the show, and I thought it was cool, and I wanted to type in the response to them, it's just good TV. And then I stopped, and I'm like, what do I mean by that? Since like, I'm not implying that either A, anime is not broadcast on television, but also B, like, it's not like I think TV is a standard that anime has to get up to, but it felt like the thing I wanted to relate to what watching the show is like. I think where my head has always been is that like episodic storytelling relies a lot less on continuity and a lot less on continuity and a lot more on the way that the cliches of the show bounce off each other and don't feel overdrawn and obvious, and you're just, as we said about Vanitas, waiting to get to the point that the character or the story is going to get to because you've seen it before. It's a cliche. In Sabikui Bisco, there's always like a layer that keeps of like characterization that keeps the episodes moving and adds a level of like, if I just turn this on with no other context, if I got this episode and that's all I watched, I would just enjoy myself. Because everything's self-contained in the episode. I don't need the even the past history. The cliches they're delivering work as television ought to work.
Yeah.
So that's why when I watch some of these, I get this time, a little teeny bit, not big time, but like a low-key, timeless feeling to some of the writing and the things that happen.
Timeless
as you
is a
out.
Very good descriptor. Yeah. It's timely. Yeah.
Like if I watched this a year from now or 5 years from now, I would get the same feeling.
Yeah. I don't know how I want to. I feel like it's a classic, but like it's not going to be known as that for a while. No. So.
So the things in this episode, we saw Milo figuring out his way of being a mushroom keeper. He kind of sucks with a bow, but he's using his skills as a physician, medical practitioner. Just his brain to come up with like other ways around that limitation. So I thought that was cool. We see his growth. You already mentioned Tyrell's sort of banter, and then Atagawa just tossing them off because they're like, shut the fuck up, like, what are y'all doing? It's too loud. I thought that was good. The one thing I wanted to harp on, and in her backstory, she talks about working on the Tetsujin as like basically a repair slave.
Yeah.
And I was very fascinated by that. I wonder if we're going to get more of a dive into that part of the world.
I think we might, because she's definitely important. And I think that the way that she reacted when they saw the picture of the Rushroom, it's probably going to link back to her time working there and how she knows about it.
Right.
I think, maybe.
Well, I'm very curious because the show has been very careful about not diving too much into the actual apocalypse that kind of gets the world to the state that it's in. It could be that it's not important, like if you watch Dorohedoro, history matters, but a lot of the facts of life that everyone is dealing with on the various sides of the dimensions are just sort of treated as that's the ground facts, and it's not important to the story to dive into who, what, where, and why. It's just the way it is, which I kind of like, because that's like a confident form of storytelling, is that you just let your world exist, and if you need to pull some of the history to make the plot work, you do it, but for the most part, everyone in the world just is taking it very seriously. So maybe they never get to it, right? But I have to imagine that if the rust disease is a function of something to do with the Tetsujin, and it's come up in discussions, especially with Tyrell's backstory, I wonder when and how that's going to re-enter the plot, because every major location that we've been to has had like a shot where there's like a piece of Tetsujin there, but at first I thought it was like one giant, and now I think it's like multiple things.
I think it's multiple things. Yeah,
because
the one that was with the kids, I was like, that looks like the full thing.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, we're already getting that, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So at the end of this episode, you get the battle with the oil squid, and then like the very classic squid final boss, which they take care of by throwing an engine in its mouth, and Milo having the grow up moment where he joins the Bisco to fire the arrow. That's cool. I thought the episode was going to end right there. I didn't look at the time, but then like we get out of the tunnel and we see the pipe snake, which is one of the grossest things the show has thrown out.
Those limbs, it was gross. It didn't like make me be like, ew, but I was like, oh, this is the kind of shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
It was pretty disgusting. Because it's got finger legs, which like, why? Like the snail plus the plane, that's weird, but I was never really grossed out by any of it. This time I was grossed out. Because, like, dude, what the fuck? Why do we have to have body horror in like, at this point? Like, we were doing so well. And then Bisco but right before that, he had, like, the replay of the thing that happened to Tyrell, where he had to pull the squid out of his mouth, which I thought was funny. Because that was just a gag. So anyway, I thought all that stuff was cool, and then Pawu shows up right at the end. Like, she's like, all right, fuck this. We're going ham next episode.
It literally was just like, this is the worst time, girl, because like, is this nigga gonna have to fight her, and then Milo is gonna have to fight the damn snake by himself? Like, and Milo's definitely not getting across that chasm, so she's not gonna be able to hear what he's saying.
Of course.
It's just like, oh my God, it's just the worst possible fucking shit for him.
So someone did reach out to me and let me know that in the first 6 episodes, there has been some anime original content that is that has been, you know, seamlessly kind of woven in. And the scene from last week with Pawu and that couple who are psychopaths is actually anime original.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's really interesting to think about. As far as that, they like I don't know very many fans of the light novel.
Yeah.
That this is based on, but there's been no outcry about it, and it sounds like what has been added has mostly enriched what was already there. So I actually think that's that's actually a even better sign.
For what's
as far
to come.
as of the competence that this show's being handled this season. That they can go in and fill in some gaps and it feels seamless, because I'm not a reader. You'd have to pay me to pick up a light novel. I think there's a manga that's not very long running that adapts some of this as well. I think someone correct me if I'm wrong. I know nothing, so whatever they're doing, I'm happy with it. Keep going.
I mean, that's all I really had for the episode.
Yep, same.
What else is there? What else did you watch? So I caught up on Realist Hero. Did you watch it for this week? Episode 6?
I did.
Yeah.
What do you feel about the direction the season is taken?
Oh man. Okay, so episode 4, I literally was like, bitch, what is this? What is this shit? Like, Soma was in that basement, like that dungeon, like, nigga, why the fuck are y'all doing this to me? Like, and I'm like, damn, yeah, I agreed. Like, what the fuck? And he's like, do you know what it feels like? You know, I already got to deal with all this shit. And then one of the best people in the fucking nation is like, kill me.
Yes, this man said, just kill me. I don't care what you guys say.
Yes!
Kill me.
Yes! Bro. Then we move on from that. And it's like, we making this harem shit official, nigga. Mm-hmm. Start wifing. Mm-hmm. But I also liked how they stopped that shit in the tracks with Juna, and he was like, now, listen, I'd love to, but like, think about, and this is true to like idol culture, where it's like idol getting engaged or getting a female. That's the end. That's the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like the betrayal, all that kind of, like, it's a wrap. So yeah, he's exactly right. Someone else needs to start to get to the level or surpass her level before he's like, all right, come here, like, we can fuck now. Like,
right.
Completely understandable. Also, shout out to Jean for literally, like, every time she's just like, all right, yeah, so the official business is over. You want to come work for me? You want to come to the Empire?
always recruiting, always like, trying to,
always on that shit. And I'm like, I can't blame you, girl, because she missed out. They missed out. Like, they literally were like, we should have just summoned this nigga ourselves. Like, cause look at this shit. Like, are you kidding me?
Yep.
What else happened in that? Oh, love
killing everybody.
I love, like, man, the trial, because at first I was like, oh my god, these old ass men are gonna be the new like arc like villains or whatever. Next episode, done. I love that shit. I thought it was hilarious how he told Castor to be taken away, and I was like, you know, that nigga think you about to kill his daughter. Like,
yo, he didn't even try to like soften the blow.
No, he was like, take him away. He was like, my daughter.
He's also a villain today.
His shit is kind of fucked up. His punishment is still kind of fucked up, because he was like, yeah, you get to go stay with your mother-in-law, but you get no contact with your son or wife ever.
That's the wildest shit. They played it so flat. It's like,
yes,
bro, that actually sucks. Like, that's not cool. You might as well just kill him right there.
Like, yeah, your whole family out there, your daughter's a slave to the fucking king. But
I know!
Like,
oh my God.
It was just, I was like, damn. And then you, like, exactly what you said, how they were, like, quoting the prince, like, had, like, animated the book and a fucking, like, portrait of that nigga as he was going through it. And I was just like, so we're doing this. We're doing this. Like, we're doing this all together. And honestly, I'm so in. Like, I'm just so fucking in. I really haven't seen or, like, witnessed another show that has... ain't shit happening. Ain't no Sakuga, ain't no fight, ain't nothing.
No.
These niggas have been talking for 3 episodes straight. And I'm like, give me more. Like, I am here. Soma, what you gonna do next? What's going on? I absolutely loved this recent week's episode. I'm skipping all around here.
That's fine. Don't matter.
But the little mad scientist homegirl.
Right. And then they were like, they stopped like right in the middle, and it's like, hold on, Licia, do you understand how fucking ridiculous and terrible this situation could be? Like, it could be the greatest thing ever or the worst thing to ever happen to this kingdom.
As soon as she pulled that shit out, and Licia was like, ugh, the curse, I was like, it's valuable as fuck. And as soon as she was like, oh, there's a vein underneath the kingdom, we don't fuck with that shit, I was like, oh my God. Y'all.
So in another
stressed.
Stressed.
Yes. Like just stressed.
Yes. In another series that's very, because this series is very like it's this wish fulfillment sort of kingdom management simulator story.
Yeah.
And typically the way these are written in like for this crowd of people who likes this shit is that the main character, because they have all this modern knowledge, goes through a series of shocks and trials, but they're really not all that threatening because his knowledge of high technology and philosophy and from the human world, our world, allows him to overcome all challenges relatively easily, much to the shock and amazement of the people around him. And he kind of gets everything that he wants, right? There's no real trade-offs to consider. There's no downside. It's just like, bam, I'm gonna show y'all a new invention today. It's the combustion engine. Oh my God, the kingdom is now so much better than our rivals. And then the war happens. Like, what are these things? They're shooting things at us. I've never... Like, that's how these stories are constructed. This show, it's like every piece of wish fulfillment, including like harems, the most ridiculous natural energy on the planet, like any of the things that normally like are just there as window dressing to give the hero an opportunity to flex about like how smart and perfect he is or whatever, or make you feel good because like I live in a society too. There's always a humongous downside that requires everybody, including the main character, to sit back and think and talk about it, to be like, we gotta be real careful.
Even with Homegirl, like, she made so she made that shit where like the arrows have the tree growth shit, right? And like it's accelerated,
fucked everything up,
and it fucked everything up. And I was like, why did no one even consider, well, how about we just put like some devastating magic into that shit and accelerate it? Like, we could poison niggas with arrows, like wide areas, like shit like that. I was like, she's onto like wild shit. Like, and
she was questioning the actual existence of magic itself in a fundamental sort of way that I was like, this is a deeper thought than a show like this probably ever deserves, but that's the way it always is.
Over fucking science. I was like, yes, bitch. I was like, I love it. Give it a name. She was like, it's not magic. Like, or not. She was like, or it's not the magic that you think it is. It makes so much sense where people are just like, it works, so we just gonna let it work. Like, why?
Right. And they filled in the gaps with like, oh, it's a self-wind spirit. It's like, well, how the fuck do you know? You don't actually know any of those things.
Yes. It was It was so good.
And
the fucking air conditioner fucking
that
machine.
was hilarious. I'm like, I looked at it, that's a Dyson. It's like, okay,
yes, that's
I
a
see.
Dyson.
That's a motherfucking
it
Dyson.
Was so perfect. I was just like, bro,
I see what y'all
made
motherfuckers are doing.
She made this shit in a parallel world. Like, what the fuck?
The gag that got me was just when they go to her dungeon in the first place, and he's like, "It's a garage."
It's a garage.
And then he had to like check himself. He's like, "All right, hold on."
Which now, even that, I'm just like, okay, so there were other people, heroes from probably a similar time, maybe even in the future, who put like the dungeons together, because it seems that the dungeons are modern.
Yeah, or something about there's a system that's there that is built. It's not natural.
I like how they answered a whole bunch of the questions that I had going through the episode, because they, like, you know, they have the orbs or whatever, and I was like, well, have you ever tried to reactivate it? And she was like, you can't reactivate them. And I was like, damn, oh, okay. I was like, so y'all, like, you're literally getting everything out the way so that we can move forward. Like, this is the focus of this episode, and next episode, we're going to focus on how the fuck you get them dragon bones and why are they so important.
Right.
Like,
so like for a show that is like 90% talk, it's doing a lot, and I appreciate it. Another season, I appreciate it.
Like, some shows just need to take just a little bit from this and just maybe like you need some of this. Just please.
What do you even call that? Is it like just a little bit of rigor, some seriousness? I don't know what it is. Thinking.
Is it thinking? Is it nuance? I don't know.
There's an aspect of that.
There is a word for it.
I would describe it as second order decision making, which is to say that, like, if you're writing a story and you have to get your character from point A to point B, and you fill in the gaps of that with like, oh, they saw a beautiful brook, and oh, they ran into some goblins, or oh, these are the events that happen. That's like flat first order linear stuff. It's just the story as it goes along. Second order is like, why were those goblins there? What is the reason for the terrain and the history of it and the people that explain? Instead of it just being a series of events that happen, it's a series of events that occur because of the rules and structure of the world. And then you have like third order, where the characters themselves engage in that level of deliberation about what the fuck is going on. Why is it happening? And then you get cool shit because you can limit information. You can be like, okay, these characters don't know why this is happening, but this character does. Now we can use this to tell a more rich story that feels grounded. And when it's
revealed, it all fucking makes sense.
Right, and it has to make sense. You can reveal some shit and it can be dumb and not make any sense, and then your whole story falls apart. It's when you keep doing reveals and they add on top of each other, and they like, you go back to episode 3 where he's like, okay, y'all be thinking about monsters this way, but y'all forgot I ain't from around here. Some of y'all niggas look like monsters to me too.
To me too, yeah.
Which is the most racist shit.
Them niggas got wings.
Yeah, it's like you got to understand that there are other points of view, and to say that as a character, and then to have that statement be taken seriously by the people around, not just like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. Like, no, they immediately like, bro, if you say some shit like that, it's a fucking rap. You gotta chill. Chaos. Now so it's just a lot of thought. If you'd asked me in like 2 years ago, would like low-key one of my favorite shows basically just be like a book report, an anime book report on the prince, I would have told you were a liar, because nothing like that would ever get made. But like, here we are.
I want more. Like, keep this shit going. I hope there's plenty of material, because it's so good. And even with, I'm not even mad that they faked out Carmine's death. I'm not even mad. I'm not mad.
It's fine because he killed like 8 people.
I mean, it's that, and also the fact that like they're hiding it well too, because the nigga's he's not talking. It'd be one thing if he rolled up in there and was like roar, roar, roar.
Yep.
It'd be like, nigga, everybody can tell that's you. Like, what the fuck? He's like, nope, silent. You can like, no speaking.
But it's also even more fucked up, right? Because everybody thinks he's dead. A lot of his subordinates killed themselves.
and that's what I was looking for. I was looking for like his right hand guy to be one of those guys with the sword behind, and I was like, that nigga's not there.
No,
he's not.
They fucking drank poison too. They got their asses right the fuck out of here.
And so now, and I remember you talking about this last week or so about like something else is like moving the shit, and it wasn't those nobles.
No,
like so something else is going on. Like. That's guiding him, and you were saying that you think it might be the queen, or like she might have something to do with it. And I think you might be right, especially because
it's the only thing that makes sense. He said he's straight. Yeah, we don't know what her magic is. He says in the episode that who he's loyal to is that family, and so because of that, he is unwilling to say anything. He's like, "Oh, you'll find out like if you keep going," and I'm like, "Bro, that royal family has got to know." Something is fucked up is going on right now. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, fucking, just a good ride. I love it. I love it so
Agreed.
much.
Did you watch anything else?
I mean, I watched Dress Up Doll. Same fucking. I mean, I just have so much fun. Like Juju's perfect. How the fuck you gonna blackmail that nigga after you stalked him? Fucking top tier, just top tier fucking characters. I love how she faked how she was into the Hina dolls and then like yoked that nigga up and was like, "Bitch, what do you? This is not what I'm here for."
It to you. I see what you did.
Yeah, like what are you doing? I love her interactions with Marin. How she literally in her bed was calling her like a bitch. The entire time, and then it was like I actually fucking love her. Like I love her, but like oh my god, I just can't. Like her preconceived notion is just like so in the forefront, even though Marin is like the person that she would get along with the best because their interests they are so heavily into the shit. It's just fucking beautiful. I love it. I also watched what the fuck else was I watch? Sasaki Tomiyano. I have something to say about Sasaki Tomiyano, and that is that this is not a beginner BL for people who are looking to get into BL because this show is slow. Oh my god, they're taking their sweet fucking time. And I'm still enjoying it, but I can definitely see it being a turnoff if someone was like, oh, you should watch this to like, try to get into BL. And like, it's a cute show and it definitely delves into emotional, like working through your emotions and also like being in an emotional state where you're uncomfortable, especially with like sexuality and using the cop out. Like this is one thing that I don't like about BLs. It's the I don't like men, I like you. And it's kind of just like, okay, but you could also like other men and still like women too. Like it's not just like you're just gay. Like that's just not the only thing. So the show did that, and I was kind of like, I don't hate it, but like, come on. Like I thought.
So can I ask you a question? Given that you've read other stuff, when that's the framing of the story, where does that usually lead the characters? Does it lead them to like talking about that in some way, or is it just a way not to talk about it?
It's a way to not to. It's a cop out. It's a cop out for them to actually like explore and like come to terms with like their actual sexuality. It's more so of this is just like my soulmate, and so I'm gonna be with them. And it's kind of just like, okay, well now we're missing the whole point of the day. But actually, no, it's not the point. It's just that it's one of those things where it's for a specific audience. So like, how a lot of fujoshis, like beyond a certain point, they don't want to hear that gay shit. They just want to watch and like be entertained by the story that's going along that gets them together. But as far as like actual like LGBTQ things and stuff like that, they like, bitch, we don't care about that. Like we. I want to actually,
I don't know if we want to get into this, but do you think that the reason for that is a show or story that's catered around what's essentially straight females who are into watching cute guys fall in love with each other, that they don't want to take those characters off the table in the minds of those straight women who are like, the reason they are into them is also because they think they're cute. You know what I mean?
That could very much so be so, where, it's like, oh my God, like if it's a guy like him and this happens in real life, he only just likes him. Like he doesn't like other guys. So that means like I could even still have a chance with him or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe that is their mindset. I don't know. I'm not a Fujoshi, so it's just
true. I'm asking you to embody someone I don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm just curious as to, you know, that's very I mean, according to you, I mean, I have not read enough to say one way or the other, but it sounds like a common.
Yeah, it's a common BL trope. Yeah. It's not as common as it used to be, but it still pops up from time to time where it's just like, and it's also highlighted nowadays because there are so many BL where it's kind of just like these niggas are gay.
Yeah,
like, this is a gay story, and it's just like great. Let's move it on. Let's get to it. So, yeah. But I wouldn't recommend it as like a first time BL, just primarily because of the pacing. It's not that the pacing of the show is bad. It's just that apparently the manga itself is a slow burn, and that is being accurately portrayed within the show. So, you know, if you're looking for stuff to like pop off immediately, go watch you some Junjo Romantica. But I warned you.
You know, it's funny you brought that up. So of all things, I've been watching like older movies, a lot of like those classic late 90s action movies, and last night I wound up watching Con Air of all movies, and I'd forgotten a lot about that film. Number one, that Dave Chappelle is in it. Like I didn't know that or didn't remember, but there's a character in the movie that's just an openly gay man. Renly is a character. It's played by this guy was in Dangerous Minds. Oh no, I'm forgetting the name. What's his name? Santiago. Maybe it's Renly Santiago, but he went by his own first name in the movie. But in this movie, in the late 90s, you have essentially what is a trans woman, but they only had and I say this in like a nice way, but they only had like one joke at the expense of that. Literally everything else was this character just in the movie, and it's just like, it's just whatever. I'm like and this is a film where there are actual Klan members, there are pedophile serial killers, there are neo-Nazis, there are black separatists, they're like literally every extreme caricature, and then there's just randomly this trans woman with like a big ass gun just fucking everybody up. And I was like, damn, I don't know if I should feel like this movie was ahead of its time, or should I still be cringing that it's like there's aspects of this presentation that would never be made again. And I wonder if like the story you're telling about how outdated just that part of the LGBT awareness in this story is it because is it an older book? Is it new? Like where did the source material come from?
Yeah. No, it's definitely recent. Within the past like four years, I think. Yeah, definitely. I think it's recent. But yeah, that's that on that one. I mean, I also watched along those lines more Pretty Cure, and honestly, the season's interesting because of the gay character. Like they developed the shit out of the gay character in the second episode to the point where there are like people are like writing articles about it where they're just like they are developing this like gay male character as a mentor to these girls in this like broadcast, like nationally broadcasted children's show. Like this is kind of, I think it's kind of big. I don't know. I don't watch the majority. I don't watch like Digimon, Pokemon, shit like that. So I don't really know about like the representation currently in those like currently running formats. But as far as this shit, I'm kind of just like, bruh, it's like they're doing a really good job. And nothing has come up about him like, you know, oh, you sleep with men. It's more so just like he's definitely gay, but they're also portraying him as like a human, and like he's looking down on the girls in a sense, but then also it's the girls that have to like snap him back to his senses and basically be like, nigga, you don't have the power to fight. So even if you are older and you think you're stronger, you just can't do shit.
Do you think Pretty Cure would be a series that would embrace some person on that spectrum, but as a fighter with the power?
They have already.
They did? Okay, great.
Yeah, it's just not, it wasn't spoken. In Hugto Pretty Cure, one of the characters' brother I think, or whatever. Oh no, one girl did like ice skating, and her like male compatriot or whatever that she did doubles, I think, with. There he had like a nerdy friend, and basically the whole like storyline with them was that basically, you know, they like were crushing on each other, and then near the end of the season, he gained the powers to like transform and fight, but he wasn't part of the regular team. It was like a one-off thing. So
gotcha.
You know, I guess they dabbled, and people didn't scream bloody murder, so they were like, let's dabble again. Let's see what happens.
I mean, it's a big series, so I mean,
it's
all
huge.
to the good.
It's huge. It's good, and they got so many they have so much merchandise this season. I'm like, poor parents. I'm so sorry.
But I think that I didn't really watch much else, so want to hop over to the news?
Yeah. All right. What did I have for news?
Well, I think the big one. Yeah, you want to start just with real quick the Jujutsu Kaisen announcement for the second season.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
Shit.
So
I didn't even have that. I just assumed everybody knew that.
I mean, everyone does know, but the season 2 is confirmed for 2023. I'm not surprised if we didn't hear anything about it last winter. Then the window for really expecting it this year would have been closed. It takes about a year, 8 months to sometimes 2 years to do all the prep work for a season to air. So, you know, frankly, I think we've been getting a little spoiled with the turnaround time on some of these season 2s. So, you know, it's coming in 2023. The movie is still doing big numbers on the Japanese box office. And, you know, we'll continue to wait and see. It'll probably be fantastic. But everything got shifted forward, I think, also, actually, like, by half a year. Everything from MAPPA. Because, like, Chainsaw Man got... if you add up the delays, isn't it about, like... 2 seasons, so like 6 months or 8 months, something like that.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for it. I had to mute it the day that they announced it though, because niggas was throwing them fucking panels up like, oh my god, I can't wait to see this animated, and I was like, all right, cool, but I'm gonna like wait the year or whatever and like actually see that shit. I'm excited. Yuji looked fucking toe to fuck up on that poster, on that visual. So
yeah,
we gonna see.
Shit's gonna happen.
We gonna see.
Shit's gonna happen. What else? What else on your list?
Rising of the Shield Hero got its like season 2 trailer. It looks like more of the same. That's great. It looks like it's gonna be more so of the adventure aspect. It's gonna be more of the same, where it showed them having like that meeting with the queen and the other 3 there, and it's kind of like, I don't know. I wish he would just like, I want him to like slam his balls on the table and basically be like, I do everything in this fucking house. Like, oh my god, like listen to me, whatever. And I'm excited to know, you know, why the turtle is, you know, a big old thing and introducing new characters and the harem is gonna expand and shit like that. I enjoy the show. It's not really super like revolutionary or anything. It's just like, yeah, nigga, revenge. I love that shit. Embarrass people and then like go like demon Super Saiyan or whatever. Like, great.
Yeah, I like the show when it's dwelling more on the skills and abilities and how the main character uses them to get out of jams.
Oh, like the MMO aspect.
Yeah, like weirdly, it's usually what I hate the most about shows like this, but like it. What's the right way? So I read the manga adaptation further than I think where the season is gonna end. A while ago. This I think is right around the time it got announced for animation. I had read through it. I didn't hate it. My biggest complaint, and it's the same for season 1, is that I don't like the main character, and I don't necessarily sympathize with him enough to justify the way in which he engages with the rest of the world, especially because the show turns into a harem almost immediately, and there's a lot of like internal ethical weirdness that they don't really think about. They just make all the women around him incredibly thankful for his attention. Not into that part of it, But that said, there's definitely some shit that's pretty cool, that like ideas that are in there, and it got a much better like anime production from rip than I ever would have thought.
Yeah.
If you look at like the manga version, it is the most generic, like,
whoa, really?
You know, mid 2010s. Like I've read dozens of series that are drawn and are written exactly like it, but for some reason this got like a high quality treatment. You know what I mean? So it's worth watching because the music and the animation is usually pretty good, even if it's the rest of it is like a little eh.
Yeah. What else is there? Wotakoi is getting a stage play. I'm just mentioning that because I fucking love that show. If you haven't watched it already, go fucking watch. Love is Hard for Otaku. It's like peak romance slice of life. Like, it's perfect. It's fucking perfect. There's also this thing on Anime News Network about the Japanese cabinet members meeting to discuss anime industry wages. That's it. I mean, that's great, but it's just politics. It's like you're meeting, but like, when can you do something about it? Because watching the episodes that are coming out, I'm like, they look great, but are the people who should be getting paid getting the money? Like, yeah,
I mean, I not being native to the country and only sort of learning through news, literal news, sort of how the culture deals with it. My understanding is that the reason stuff like this comes up at a political level is when there's a lot of bad press around some aspect, and when that press becomes international, you know, like let's stipulate a couple things. Japan is not a closed society by any stretch of the imagination, but a lot of stuff that like gets criticized outside of the country is also like irrelevant to the politics of the country. Like, people are really weird about, like, you know, the proliferation of like sexualized young bodies in anime, right? That's a principal cultural export. You hear about it all the time. Folks have been arrested in other countries
and niggas over that material. Here are buying it up. Like, are you kidding? Like,
so you hear about that, but as far as like what makes big news in Japan enough to like change a law, is never going to be that kind of backlash. However, the anime industry wage stuff is, ironically enough, because it's about money, it's like a big enough issue that it does get on the radar of politicians, especially if they think that some part of this is making them non-competitive. I think I read an article on that. Maybe we'll talk about it some other time because it was dealing with other stuff. But like, the amount of competition there is for production, like high quality production, it used to be like Japan was the number one place because back before everything went digital, it was all these people had years of experience doing hand-drawn high quality animation. But then when it went digital, if you actually look at the credits for a lot of anime, a lot of shit isn't done by Japanese studios. It's done in Taiwan, it's done in Korea, it's done in France, it's done in the Philippines. Well, they even
mentioned in this part that like there are Chinese animators who are getting paid way more.
Yeah, exactly. So that's so because of that, it is actually an issue for competitive like business that they need to pay better. You know, like that's the end result is that like they cannot win a race to the bottom, and it is actually affecting a lot of like domestic news. I apparently what's the name of that what's the big Japanese newspaper that gets translated in English? Something Shinbun. But like, I've seen articles about this for years, that this is in Japan they recognize that this is a big problem. So I'm not totally shocked that they're finally talking about it. And it takes so much to get the government to get involved because of the bureaucracy is fucking terrible over there.
Yes.
Then it also means that once they start doing something, it's kind of hard to get them to stop. So there's a chance
also it's going to be overregulated.
Yeah, or that at least like in other countries, like, well, they're talking about it, but nothing will happen. Whereas in Japan, it's like, if they're talking about it, then probably something is going to happen, but it may not be the thing that people want, and it may be not a thing anyone has any input on. Do you know what I mean? Like, in America, we'll have like 8,000 meetings and we'll water everything down. In Japan, by the time they get into those 8,000 meetings, the ball is already rolling. So I don't know what it means. I don't know if like wages are going up. I don't know if there's going to be some laws around like lifestyle and whatever, basically making it easier for people to sue if something bad happens to them, like they get sick or people commit suicide or something. Yeah. That shooting actually made a big difference. Remember the attack on what studio was it? It wasn't Cloverworks.
Oh, KyoAni.
Like that was like a big, that drew a lot of attention to a lot of issues in and around anime production when it happened in Japan. As far as like what his connection is to this, I don't know. I'm not gonna speculate.
Yeah. And then my last one is, and it also leads into my recommendation, which is like, bitch, we're getting Xenoblade Chronicles 3 this year. If you weebin' and you haven't played that game, you better get it the fuck together. You better get it together. The only thing that I even have to say to complain is that we still waiting on X. We still waiting on it. So, other than that, like, we got the cat girl. She's one of the main characters. Of course, they bringing all the bitches back because, like, some of them are like. This is a great. Thank you, Margaret Soft. Thank you for announcing this now and not ignoring it in lieu of Breath of the Wild 2. Like, thank you, Nintendo. I will take it. I can't wait. I hope we have. There's gonna be a gacha system, maybe again. Thank you. I'd love to. Or not. I don't know. It's gonna be some fucking fun ass weeb shit. The action choreography is gonna be great. The game's gonna probably be like 120 hours. Like, I'm ready. Like, give it to me. And in lieu of that, if you haven't, you need to play Xenoblade Chronicles, both of them, 1 and 2, and X if you can get your hands on the Wii U. But like, good luck with that one. Like, do you have any other news?
No, not really. I think that I've noticed since the Sonic trailer drop that in a weird way, because it looks good, whoever I've been following that got me onto the Sonic Twitter stuff, like they're not sharing things that are like ridiculous. People are actually they're just happy. And then this fucking Knuckles live action series, I don't even understand.
I saw that. I was like, Rouge is guaranteed now. Rouge is guaranteed.
We already talked about fucking Rouge the Bat. We ain't about that. Nothing much. It's a pretty chill week. Mid-season,
Yeah, it is already mid-season. Wow.
Mid-season.
I don't know anything about Attack on Titan. I'm not caught up, y'all. I'm still super behind. So that's just, it is what it is. Shit's happening. I see people talking. Hero to villain, what something. Okay.
Well, whatever.
I'm gonna catch up in time for the fucking ending because I want to know if they change it. So
the only thing that's really weird is that when the manga got to this part, there was a lot of stuff, I would say discourse on Twitter and other online spaces of people who agreed with Aaron's decisions up to that point, not knowing what the end game was. I'm not saying I wasn't one of them, but I will say that it was kind of weird to have people self-identifying as Jaegerists since it's supposed to be allegorical to Nazis. Fascism.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the decision, because I don't, to be fair, by the time I was at this store, I was fed up with everybody but Aaron. I was like, this nigga about to wipe everything clean. Like, you know what? I'm with it. I'm not even mad anymore because you've taken me far too long. But that's because of exhaustion and irritation, not because of like, I don't know, a sincere ideological belief that this is the right thing to be doing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll get that again.
It be what it be. Yeah, we gonna see. Y'all already got my recommendation. So, is there anything that you would like to recommend this week?
Oh man, I wish I had a cool recommendation. Like I went back and caught up on some manhwa. I mean, I guess I'll recommend like something I always recommend, which is Get Up with Tower of God, because some tragic shit happening.
Oh no! Okay.
Some just tragic motherfucking shit. It's fucking tragic. Sucks.
No.
It's just
I thought it was epic like 3 weeks
it's epic,
or so ago.
But it's tragic as well. The part that you're at with the dogs, and they tell you the history of the dogs, or a little bit of it about their father. We got the full story.
Oh,
it's tough, and I'm like, I was mad because I'm like, don't make me sympathize with the villain here. Don't fucking make me do this. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. He was a good villain. I need him to remain like, a one-dimensional asshole. Cause like, damn. Okay. Don't make me do this, man. They've done it so many times. I'm like, stop it. Just let me have this one where he's just evil. And also, for the first time, a head of a family is engaged in combat, and we see it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Shit.
That is the level of shit that they're on is like.
Well, yeah, they're basically gods also.
There's a line which gives away nothing, because it's not a spoiler, where a character says, a character we know is like, I can't even make eye contact with this person because if I do, I will immediately die. And I'm like, oh shit, we are in it now. Can't even make eye contact. Instant death. They were fighting and balling out, and then this nigga showed up, and even the guys on the good side were like, you know what? I don't know about this one, dog. I don't know.
Oh wow. Okay.
I don't know, bro.
Okay.
Tough. Real tough. So yeah. Not much else this week.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's all, y'all. If you haven't already, make sure you check us out on Twitter, anime_savants. And then everything else is just regular Anime Savants on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Anchor, Spotify. Even though I don't know if you want to watch it on Spotify, listen to it on Spotify right now. If you don't want to, it's you can. It is what it is. And on Apple Podcasts also. So yeah, give us a listen, give us a rating. And thank y'all for watching on YouTube. Like, it's definitely like y'all are actually like watching it. It's not just like a 2-minute thing. Like, y'all are like sticking around for like 25 minutes plus. So thank you for that.
Love it. You can hit me up on Twitter anytime at Neural Handshake. I don't care about spoilers. I will roast you if you come at me with some weird shit. But we're keeping it light and breezy. It is too cold to be fighting with people on the internet right now. Let's all look inwards. Be better people for the springtime. Then y'all can come out and go fucking wild. But
I'm tired of this. I'm tired of snow. I'm tired of it. Like, I'm tired of it being 60 degrees one day, and then the next 2 days it's in the teens. Like, I ain't got time for this. I ain't got time for this. Like, I'm done with the cold. Like, please. Or maybe I'm done with the cold because I actually have to go out in it now. So, all right, bye.
Peace out.